Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Absolute Batman issue 16, written by Scott Snyder with art by Nick Dragotta, colors by Frank Martin, and letters by Clayton Cowles. Batman's team up with Wonder Woman continues this issue as Bruce returns to his job as a construction worker, where his crew talk about Batman as they work clearing the debris from the old stadium Batman fought Bane in. The crew wonder if Batman is right about the city, especially after they got a good look at Bane during the fight. Quitting time soon comes calling and the crew pack up, but before he can leave, Lucius Fox catches up to Bruce, knowing his absence was felt and it's good that he's back on the job. Bruce assures him that it won't happen again, and Lucius knows Bruce wouldn't have left if it wasn't for something serious, wanting to make sure he's all good. Bruce knows that he's fine and Lucius leaves it alone, but asks Bruce to go away for the weekend and just touch some grass and have some fun. It's really nice to see Lucius again after so long, and good to know that he's also part of Bruce's little support group he's got going on. Also, the way his words are written and how I read them, they remind me of Morgan Freeman's portrayal of Lucius Fox from the Nolan Batman films. Like, he is aware of Bruce's nightly activities but won't outrightly say so or have Bruce tell him, since then he's got plausible deniability. There's a bit of that Morgan Freeman playfulness happening here, where he's kind of in the loop but also just kind of staying on the outside of it a little bit, I think. After leaving the job site, Bruce goes to visit Harvey and Oswald in hospital, bringing a round of subs for them all. Harvey thinks that it's nice, but Oz can't have solid foods yet and very clearly isn't interested in food, since at least Selina gave them cash. Bruce didn't come to fight, but Oswald screams at him, telling Bruce that everyone sees him, Harvey and Edward as monsters, and it's Bruce's fault, knowing that the man can't even look him in the eye, which is actually true. Bruce never once looks Oswald in the eye the entire interaction they have here. Oswald thinks that the next time he should try saving his friends for a change, not the city. Bruce walks out without saying anything, and we get our first little taste of Two-Face here, as while Harvey says that Oswald was harsh in his words, the other side, which we actually see, I think for the first time at least properly, we get to see that it's like that kind of classic animated series Blue. It actually says that Bruce had that coming to him, and I quite like that. We're starting to see the germination of Two-Face and what Two-Face might be in this universe. I'm also glad to be back with Bruce's little group and exploring more about how they feel about Bruce and what he has become as Batman and how that has directly affected them. I also feel that out of the group, Oswald has the best reasonings for wanting to become a proper villain. Unless something drastically happens to the other guys, they all seem to have kind of come to terms with what's happened to them and don't really blame Bruce all that much, or they can see that Bruce is trying. But Oswald is bitter, and for good reason as well. Like, he was basically, crumpled into an accordion by Bane, and it's like completely ruined his life. So he has the best reasonings for wanting to turn on Bruce and wanting to become a villain, and I'd be all for that. I would like some of these guys to actually become villains, since right now they're all at least mostly chummy with Bruce and understand why he's doing what he's doing. So it'd be nice if one just kind of broke off from the pack. After leaving the hospital, Bruce decides to drown himself in his work, suiting up as Batman and heading out to the Natural History Museum, where amongst the ancient Greek exhibits, he uses the talisman of Hecate Wonder Woman gave him to summon the hero, who immediately appears, knowing things must be dire if Bruce summoned her. I also wonder why he went to the Natural History Museum. I wonder if it was like a kind of thing where like he thought like he had to be around like mythological artifacts or stuff from Diana's culture or something. It's just a neat little thing. I just thought that like he's trying to like ease her into this world he's in. Bruce tells her about Waylon and how he is changed into something half man, half animal, and things are getting worse with him. So he figured that he would ask Diana for her help, as her myths and legends are full of half men and half beast people who turn back to human and to beast at will. So he was hoping that she would know of some sort of artifact that can help Waylon out. Now, this is a fantastic setup for the team up, and also one that feels so un-Batman-like, since he's asking for help, which is something Batman has done in the past, but there's always like a resistance to it. Like, Batman's always going on about how he has to do it himself, he can do it all alone, and I like that Scott Snyder has been developing a Batman here who has that support group very early on, even before he he started as Batman, and that's continued throughout his entire first year as Batman. I also think that Bruce took what Oswald said to him about helping his friends as kind of like a challenge, and Batman is not one to back down from a challenge, so I like that he's kind of going at it right now. He's going to get it out of the way and prove to Oswald and to the others that he can and will help them. Diana explains that her lasso sacrifice is the only artifact she knows that can transmogrify someone into a human or a beast, someone like Killer Croc, but because of his chaotic mind, it would be a disaster. She thinks for a moment, then realizes there is an artifact in hell that could help, but Bruce would need to travel with her for a few weeks. But Bruce reminds Diana that he actually has a job, but Diana reveals that time moves differently in hell, so they actually won't be gone for very long. Relatively speaking, that is. Bruce wants to do it since it will help Waylon, and so Wonder Woman carves open a portal with her own blood, allowing Bruce and her to step forth into Aeya, the place between the surface world and the underworld. So I like the kind of turning of the tables we had between the Absolute Wonder Woman and this book's crossover, where the Wonder Woman one was all very detective, rather realistic. They were hunting a cult that was using magic, but from all intents and purposes, it was a murder mystery. And I like with the Batman one here, it's all the fantastical stuff, all the flying Pegasuses and Cyclopses and other worlds and everything. I quite like that. It's dropping Bruce into the deep end. He's never experienced anything like this, and it's probably going to do a number on him. Diana tells Batman that they are going to challenge Acrolis, the guardian of a bridge that's very far from them, and Batman wants to use the flying horse Pegasus to get there, but Diana knows that anything flying in this realm is a target, so they will have to walk. The heroes head off, and for 2 weeks, Batman and Wonder Woman dodge the many perils of the world they are in. During their travels, Batman learns all about hell from Wonder Woman and how she lives there with her mother Cersei, and Diana learns all about Bruce's father being murdered and taken from him when he was young. I'm liking how the journey made Bruce and Diana learn a little bit more about themselves and grow closer, in that they have very much kindred spirit in that they lost so much and they have endured it, with their respective parents as well. They both lost parents, and I like that that's kind of making them bond a little bit. I'm sure when they finally meet Superman, it will be something they share with him as well, since he too has lost parents. Not just one set of parents, but 2 sets of parents as well. Eventually, they reach a tomb, one of the kings who died fighting Acrolis. But even though he was defeated, he was given a hero's funeral. Bruce notes the coins on the eyes for the ferrymen, asking Diana if they really do buy the dead passage, and Diana answers in an interesting way, since she kind of dodges the question, almost kind of waving it off since they are close to their target. But I think she knew this was really just Bruce asking about his father and if he would have had passage into the afterlife. The heroes soon come to the bridge Acrolis guards, but Diana wants them to make camp and prepare for the fight. While Bruce ventures through the underworld, Alfred finds himself on his own adventure into hell, as he's gotta feed Killer Croc, who he finds is becoming more and more beast than man, having to keep a gun trained on him as he brings him his cooler full of meat, so the creature does not eat him. It's a neat little vignette showing just how much more animalistic Waylon is becoming, now only able to say the word meat, but nothing more. Like, he's very much the Killer Croc. I also kind of like it that, like, this is what Alfred's been sort of, like, devolved into. He's like a trained secret agent assassin, and he's got to feed this giant monster so it doesn't eat him. That's kind of funny. Back in the underworld, Diana briefs Bruce on Acrolis and how he is more than just a centaur. He is the Lord of Transformation, and his bow transforms anyone struck by it, turning 2 legs into 4. Bruce is still having a hard time wrapping his head around all of this and everything he's seen so far, and along with the thumb drive that Diana gave him with info on Superman and the various other beings like them, it's becoming a little bit too much for him. Diana understands it's all strange and new, offering Bruce a potion that will help protect him against Acrolis' magic. However, he'll still be physically injured if he is hit by the villain. Bruce wonders if all of this will really help Waylon, and Diana cryptically says that everything Bruce needs lies within inside of him, urging him to drink the potion. I really love Diana and Bruce's dynamic. It's all kind of business, but there's also that warmth between them because of the bond they've shared by learning about each other's childhoods and the family that was taken away from them, so they found a bond with each other. It's just a really cool friendship, and I like that it's not being played as one that's like romantic either. I think a lot of people do want this to be a romantic relationship. I have seen people that want that, but I like that it's not being written like that. It's being written as they are just two heroes just trying to do their job and trying to do it while also making friends, while they found someone in this world that is so unlike them that is like them. The potion quickly knocks Bruce out, allowing Diana to put the coins over his eyes, which transports Bruce into the afterlife, where he appears as a small child in front of his father, whom he quickly hugs. Bruce talks with his father, who asks what's on his mind. Bruce tells Thomas that he's a hero for saving him and his friends from the zoo, and he's trying to be a hero just like his father was, but he keeps hurting everyone around him. Thomas, however, thinks that of what he did that day at the zoo was not saving Bruce or being a hero, since what he did the day before by teaching Bruce and just being there and being his dad is what made him a hero. So this is really cool on so many levels. As, first obviously Bruce gets a moment with his dead parents, which has happened before, but usually it's like an illusion, some alternate world, something that isn't mean it's like the real thing. There's always like a caveat that, as I said, it's like an illusion or something. But this is literally his father from the afterlife, from the underworld or wherever he went when he died. And I like that. I like that it's that sort of thing, that we can have that sort of thing and it just be kind of like a casual conversation. It's not being built up as like this big return of Thomas Wayne thing like I'm sure the mainline comics would have done at some point. Secondly, this is also a callback to all the amazing stuff we saw earlier on in the run that set up Thomas and kind of delved a little bit into his past life before he had kids, and how he is so eager to teach and prepare kids for life because he knows showing them attention and support and being there for them can prevent them from going down a dark path. It's also in line with what we saw in that amazing Daniel Warren Johnson Absolute Batman annual, and how we learned Thomas was a peace protester and preferred to use peace over violence, something which, again, is the opposite of what his son is doing, but his son also knows that he has to meet that violence with violence in order to get anywhere in this world. It all fits so well together, and it fits into what we actually see Thomas as, which is, we usually see him as a doctor, someone with a Hippocratic oath, the do no harm to someone oath. And while he's not a doctor here in this universe, he's still very much adhering to those rules, which I quite like. Bruce doesn't understand his father's reasoning, so Thomas explains that Bruce is an engineer. He knows that building is about commitment to making the city better and visualizing what it could be and working every day towards that. He tells his son to go get out there and build, and there's a really neat visual here as Bruce and Thomas are atop the bridge that Bruce made for his science experiment, the one shaped like a bat that was unbreakable, and the symbolism of that, the unbreakable bat, the bat that can't bend or bow under pressure or immense weight, and it's that thing that's protecting Gotham, and I quite like that visual. It's very good. Bruce is jolted awake from his dream suddenly, finding it's morning and Diana is armoring up, telling him to get ready for the fight. Bruce asks about the artifact, but Diana knows that she can only help him fight Acrolis, but Batman must be the one to best him. The heroes head onto the bridge and call for the villain, finding the giant horseman waiting for them. Acrolis is happy to see Diana there since he's going to take immense joy in killing her and her mortal mate. Batman and Wonder Woman are quick to tell the villain that they are not together as they attack, pulling the centaur down onto the ground, where Batman delivers a hard punch to his gut. Acrolis goes down hard and Batman thinks that they've actually won, but Wonder Woman warns him not to stand behind the centaur, but it's too late as Acrolis kicks Bruce in the head with his powerful legs, blasting Batman off of the bridge, finding the Batman's defeat a shame since he had a warrior's heart. Suddenly, Pegasus shows up, speeding down towards Bruce to save him, and while the horse tries to save the Dark Knight, Wonder Woman is left alone to face Acrolis, who readies his bow, gloating how Batman would have made a fine bat centaur for his stable. Batman thinking his usual tactics would work against a mythical creature is kind of hilarious. Like, yeah, bro, hitting a fantasy creature as hard as you can will totally work and not just make it mad. Like, he's fought big threats, but he's never fought like a fantastical mythological creature, and it's just so funny thinking that Batman thought that would work. And even the design here in Dragotta's artwork, where, you know, Batman is just completely oblivious to what a centaur can do when it's knocked down. It's just really funny, just this blank expression on his face. It's such a funny visual gag. Before Acrolis can attack, Pegasus returns with Batman riding the bony steed. Acrolis, however, ignores Batman and fires his bow at Diana, but Batman jumps in the way, taking the magical arrow in his shoulder. Batman's distraction gives Wonder Woman enough time to close the gap between her and Acrolis, slashing his next arrow before he can fire it and then smashing him hard in the face, telling the villain that she is going to transform his face with that punch. The centaur falls down defeated, and so Wonder Woman rushes to Batman's aid, painfully snapping the arrow out of Bruce's shoulder, but Bruce thinks he failed and couldn't get the artifact since he didn't defeat Acrolis. Diana hoists Bruce over her shoulder, telling him that he didn't fail, wanting him to remember what she told him the night before. The heroes get ready to head home, but Bruce doesn't want to leave yet since he's not said his goodbyes, seeing a vision of his father again, who says goodbye to his son. The next day, Bruce wakes in his own bed, the arrow still in his shoulder. He remembers Diana's words about everything he needs being inside of him, and so he rips the arrowhead out of his shoulder, knowing the magical arrow is what transforms people from human to beast and from beast to human. The next day he heads into work, joking about his broken arm with Lucius, citing how he just slipped in the shower. Bruce is eager to get back to work as down in the sewers, Waylon finds the arrowhead, now turned into a necklace, with a note from Bruce telling him to wear it and let it touch his skin, and that he is never alone. This is such a beautiful ending. Bruce managed to help one of his friends with the help of one of his new friends, and I'm intrigued to see what the arrowhead's effects will do, and I have to assume that they're gonna transform him back into a humanoid form, not a full human. Like, we're gonna get the more classical Killer Croc where he's like a big scaly guy, and maybe when he takes the talisman off, it's like taking off the weighted gi or something, you know, the restraints. He's able to morph into the giant Killer Croc that we've seen and grown to love, and that would be really damn cool. I'd like to see like him be able to Hulk out and get into big fights alongside Bruce. That'd be really cool. I do though wonder if Waylon is going to end up forgiving Bruce. It's going to be interesting, a conversation to have with these two characters and see how Waylon reacts to all of this, or whether he's on, you know, Harvey and Edward's side, or whether he thinks along the same lines as Oswald and thinks what Bruce did to them was unforgivable. Hopefully we don't have to wait too long. I know the next arc is about Poison Ivy, which I'm really looking forward to. We've seen brief glimpses of what Poison Ivy might look like back when Bruce entered Arkham for the first time, so I'm really intrigued to see what she turns out to be in this universe. Absolute Batman issue 16 was a great second installment to the Batman Wonder Woman crossover team-up, diving into the fantasy elements Wonder Woman brings over from her book instead of the detective elements that Batman brought over to Wonder Woman's book. Bruce going on a journey to help his friends was long overdue, as was him getting a moment to confront what his Batman is and what it is in his own eyes compared to how his father was a hero and how he's doing things differently even though he doesn't want to. It explored some really interesting avenues that we don't really get to see with Batman all that much, or at least see them in big chunks like this. It's only in very small doses. But making it the crux of the character, him wrestling with Batman and what it is and how it affects those around him, is so good, and it's coming together in a really satisfying way, and I can't wait to see the culmination of this story, this 16-part story we've had so far about Batman becoming Batman and becoming the Batman we know. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10, and tell me down in the comments below what you thought of Absolute Batman issue 16, and don't forget to like and subscribe.